town's Facebook page. I will call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. precisely. Today is Earth Day, Monday, April 22nd, 2024. And welcome, everyone. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and follow that with a brief moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That moment of silence. Okay, thanks. Okay, just because I may be clairvoyant, I don't believe anybody has signed up. Okay.
Good observation.
Fantastic. And I hope that all of you have read the minutes and as well as the proclamations for Earth Day and Arbor Day. I will not be reading them aloud. I was going to read one of them, but then I was like, I feel bad if I only read one and not the other, and then I can't read both because goodness gracious, we'll be here forever. So with that, I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda, but first I shall read what is inclusive of Monday, March 25th's minutes, the appointment of Paul Mahler to the Board of Zoning Appeals for an expired term, for an unexpired 3-year term. That's interesting. Expiring August 2026.
Right.
Okay. The reappointment of Nick Sheets and Eric Valenstein to the Sykesville Parks and Recreation Commission for 3-year terms, those expiring April 2027. And as I mentioned, the previous proclamations for both Earth Day, which is today, April 22, and proclamation for Arbor Day, which is this Friday, April 26th.
Mayor, can I request that the minutes be separated?
Okay, sure. Is, you found an error?
No, I wasn't here, so I have to abstain.
Oh, okay, very good. Then we'll do it that way. Thank you. I was like, boy, I didn't see that. All right, fantastic.
Good.
So the consent agenda, not inclusive of the minutes for March 25th. Do I have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Thank you. And that motion is made by Councilman Grassley and seconded by Councilman Mark Dyer. All in favor, please say. Oh.
So Joe, I'm sorry. So when there is a agenda change, like what happened, indeed. So there's not a follow-up email to that. How would the public find out about that?
Only going to the website.
Only going to the website.
Or watching the meeting.
So is that good with open meetings and all that?
Yeah,
is it
typically
compliant, I guess?
Yeah, typically you don't want to amend an agenda the day of the meeting. However, because these are relatively minor administrative type proclamations, we went ahead and included them on the consent agenda.
Okay, I agree. Totally. Okay.
Okay, so we'll take a vote with the motion on the table to approve the consent agenda, less the item number 1, which is the minutes for March 25. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. So the consent agenda minus the minutes from March 25th is passed, and go ahead.
Motion to approve the minutes from March 25th, 2024.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Thank you. Councilman Dyer with the second. All in favor of approval of the minutes from the Monday, March 25th Mayor and Town Council Meeting 2024, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All
I
right.
would like to abstain.
And there we go. That's the motion that okay. And so we have one abstention, and with that abstention, we are otherwise the consent agenda and the minutes are approved. That brings us to our only item of new business for this evening, which is to consider, discuss, and act on the introduction of ordinance number 2024-03, an ordinance to adopt and approve the annual budget and set tax rates for the town of Sykesville, Maryland for fiscal year 2024-2025. And I just, before I turn this over to Joe, just want to say that today marks a very historic moment for this council and for our town as we unveil the largest annual budget in its history. With visionary investments and strategic planning, we're poised to transform our community like never before. This budget isn't just numbers on paper, it's a roadmap to greatness. Wow. A blueprint for progress. And a testament to our collective vision for a brighter future. With record, and so buckle up everybody, because our journey starts tonight if this introduction gets approved. So as we're doing all of this, by the way, while cutting the real property tax rate, last Monday the Town Council and I met for a budget workshop with which involves some continued consideration about the tax rate, as we've been speaking about it for several months, and the implications of holding it steady versus lowering it. That workshop was followed by a great deal of personal deliberation as well as some very robust one-on-one conversations with individual council members. And tonight we present the fiscal year 2025 budget with a real property tax set at 32 cents per $100 of assessed property value. This represents a 1 cent tax rate reduction from previous tax rate held steady at 33 cents since 2019. So I'll turn this over to Joe.
Well, I don't know what to say after that kind of introduction. I will hit several highlights on the presented budget. Just to make sure everyone's clear, at least from the public sense, I know council has probably heard this already, but the main reason why the budget is as high as what it is because of all of the capital items and projects that are proposed for next fiscal year. So again, that's roughly half of that number that you see on the screen. Just over $4 million is allocated towards certain projects. So again, it's roughly a $4 million operating budget is where we've typically been, but again, the capital investment is quite significant. As the mayor mentioned, property taxes, we are reducing the property tax rate by 1 penny. So we are still slightly above the constant yield rate that was recommended. The constant yield rate was recommended at 0.3186. So again, we just kind of rounded it up to 3.32. Again, that's been something that we've discussed for several months. This was the year that we thought, we could incorporate that without having to sacrifice anything from the operating budget. Income tax too. Because we had seen steady increases in income tax, we've actually shifted from a 5-year rolling average to a 3-year rolling average. Gave us a little bit of a little more leeway within the budget. So again, wanted to point that out. We are also dipping into the unassigned fund balance to cover some, let's just call it out of the ordinary operating expenses, namely legal fees and several planning projects related to transportation and the completion of our zoning rewrite. Salaries, of course, were adjusted to account for merit increases. There were no changes made to the mayor and town council salaries. Just pointing that out to everybody.
Yeah.
I did want to point out that in the public safety department, we have a funded position that is not filled. So again, we're sitting at 9 full-time officers right now. The goal is always to have 10. This gives us the ability to hire just as soon as chief finds an applicant that is worthy of the position.
I'm trying.
And then employee benefits is really the only other one that I wanted to point out, at least from an operating side. They continue to be an increasing percentage of the overall operating budget, another 10% increase to that category this fiscal year, most of that due to an increase in health insurance benefits, and plus, obviously, when we increase salaries and pay our employees more, we contribute more to the state retirement programs, or the various state retirement programs that we participate in. So that overall category went up 10% from last fiscal year. And then touching on the capital side, again, this is where the budget gets aggressive. So really between the police department and public works, they're kind of our standard annual capital expenditures with replacement of several vehicles for the police department, one replacement piece of equipment for the public works department, and then all of our radar units and our cruisers they've reached the end of their useful life, so we have to replace all of those at once. And then in parks, we're going to complete the linear trail parklet. We hope to have a chunk of that done current fiscal year, and then obviously that'll go into next fiscal year as well. We are eligible for another program open space project next fiscal year, so likely it's going to be something to do with Cooper Park with pavilion remediation, I guess is the best term for it, and then potentially some other things. And obviously when that project gets fleshed out a little more, it'll come to council for approval. And then to start the planning process on the cannery building on South Branch Park. That's been a long time coming as well. And then the Sandusky lot in front lawn buildings, or Sandusky lot in front lawn area, will finish out the strategic demo grant that we were awarded several years ago, or we were transferred to several years ago. And then the big one is the South End streetscape. So basically the remaining ARPA money that the town has is being allocated to this program. So again, it's the streetscaping basically from Oklahoma, Sandusky area, and south to beautify that area of town. That's been designed. It's currently going through the review process. I know our engineers have a meeting with State Highways here in this week, so we hope to get a good update from them. And then, obviously post July 1, hopefully we'll be ready to bid that project and get that thing rolling. So that is the nuts and bolts of the budget, and obviously I'm available for any questions that anybody may have. But staff is recommending that we approve the introduction of the budget as presented, and that the public hearing be scheduled for May 13th.
Thank you, Joe.
No problem.
Anyone?
I just want to say thank you so much for the budget workshop. Really went into quite detail with us, and I really appreciate the Excel spreadsheet. You know how I like Excel spreadsheets. So. And the comparison from 2024, I really think that that helps all of us on the council be good stewardships of the money that's coming into Sykesville, and I hope the residents feel that way, especially with the tax decrease in this environment, that we're making smart decisions. So, thanks for that.
Lee, did you have questions?
Nope.
So I had 3 questions. One, the rent for the Baldwin station.
Yes.
Okay, so recognizing obviously it's significantly decreased, and just are we
It
being
didn't
really
decrease, it was zeroed.
The revenue has significantly decreased, but
Yes.
the line item is completely zero, yeah.
are we being like ultra conservative on not expecting anything? Do we have any updates on like when that will come?
So-
like what's our time?
Basically, the anticipation is that the project does move forward, but that there will be significant investment made into that building by the current tenant. And that investment triggers an abatement period that's 3 years long. So,
Great, okay.
So we're certainly not anticipating any rent being collected next fiscal year.
Okay.
As far as an update on the project itself, I know the architects we are working with hope to have at least something preliminarily ready for MHT review, that's Maryland Historic Trust review, by the end of the month. And depending on what their feedback is, we'll know whether or not we need to punt and try again or come up with a different idea, or hopefully we get the positive feedback we're expecting, and then we can move forward with more formal application and actually construction plans for the building.
So would it be possible, because I know I've started to see questions online, and I know we've talked about it saying sold on that sign, like,
Yeah, that needs to be changed.
can we, I mean, we should be able to just take, I mean, those 4 letters
We can.
off, but would it be helpful maybe to remove that sign completely and replace it with something from the town, kind of keeping people updated, or
Taking
something
the
that would be
entire
useful?
Sykesville Station sign down?
It's gonna be removed anyway, right?
Yes, that's true.
So-
I mean, I guess we could always
The
remove it
business
completely.
sign.
Yeah, but it's not gonna be.
Well, I mean, there'll be a sign there, yeah.
At Sykesville Station.
Yes, but the.
No, it's not
their
even at
logo-
Sykesville
Their
Station.
logo
It's
will
like
be
Okay.
historic
up
Sykesville. Yeah, I
there.
mean, the whole thing. is-
Okay.
It will likely be a whole new sign.
So just a recommendation that maybe we look at least removing the 4 letters, but more importantly, removing something and maybe
Sure.
giving us a place to inform.
Mhm.
Because I know there are a lot of questions. There was, initially a mention about an April opening, so a lot of people are confused.
Yeah.
And there are other things going on with, laboratories that I think are confusing messages to people. So
Sure.
if there was just a space that we could,
And we can work a
Easily
little closer
informed.
with the tenant too. So again, we don't want to step on their toes or their plans. So
Correct.
It's whatever updates they're willing to provide too.
Right.
For this whole process. But
or just something more informative than what we have right now in public would be, I think, helpful. And then my other 2 questions were for you, Chief, as we're looking at increasing staff and making sure the 2 items I noticed that didn't seem to change significantly were uniforms and then the auxiliary money. And I know that we've had very productive meetings with auxiliary, and so just wanting to make sure that you feel like those are adequately funded, just because
Yeah, I thought we did bump up the uniforms. Well, we're kind of constant at 9 right now with potentially 1 more officer. So
yeah.
I'm talking about a significant amount of money for.
Yeah, I'd have to pull the specific line item. I don't know where it's at. But again, it's, the auxiliary line item, speaking to that one specifically, is because that's typically how much we spend for auxiliary. And that's really just for operating side. If they need equipment or something like that, usually we, as those needs arise, we fund those separately or some other way. As far as uniforms, we're happy to take a look at that line item, and if there's something in there that needs to be adjusted, we can certainly do that.
I just want to make sure
It's
that,
not
as we're growing and having needs with both of those groups, that you're adequately funded to do what they need.
Thank you.
So,
Well, it went up by 10%, but didn't, yeah. it
I mean,
seems-
well,
That's not a lot. No, I agree.
and it's lower, but it's also
It was
lower.
only 10%. I expected it more as well.
And it's significantly lower from in the Excel spreadsheet the previous 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You must have slipped that one by me, Joe.
Well, keep in mind, 2 years ago, we were funding 2 new officers, or
Right.
we were outfitting
And
2
they
new
have to
officers
specify
coming out of the
everything
academy,
you're gonna do,
and
all
last
those
year,
tests and all those expenses.
Oh, yeah.
another academy member. So again, we're not doing that again. Hopefully we get another officer, but when that day comes, we'll be able to fund that.
okay. I just want to make sure those two were where the chief needed them.
Thank you.
President?
Joe, I just want you to clarify for those that are watching and will be watching in the future.
Dozens
You
of
had
people.
mentioned that this is an aggressive budget because we have a lot of projects that we're planning. It's approximately $4 million
Just on the capital side.
just on the capital side. Can you advise or can you let us know how much of that is grant funded?
Well, if you include the ARPA funding for the streetscape project, almost all of it.
Okay.
I would say maybe 250K or so is just from the capital fund, like our reserve accounts. So again, most of it is either grant or ARPA related.
I just wanted
And it's
everybody.
use it or lose it too, right?
The ARPA funding is,
Yeah.
it has to be allocated by the end of the calendar year. It has to be spent within, I think it was December 2026. So.
I just wanted everybody to know that we didn't just spend.
We didn't drain
Correct.
our savings account.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's next year. No.
All of that is correct.
Thank you. That was good for the edification of the public.
Yes.
How about you, Councilman Dyer? Any questions for staff?
No, I'm good. Between my looking at what you sent and what we saw I'm good.
Great. Well, I want to give a shout out to the council here and thank them for the extra time that goes into planning a budget that is twice as big as it normally is, and of course the advising from staff, and I particularly want to I guess just call out this whole idea of being able to reduce the tax rate on properties, real property tax rate, I mean to say, within an environment where we are spending a great deal of money on improvements and capital improvements specifically, is really something that only happens, I think, because of those that have come before us and the councils, some of which are still sitting here and some that, whose pictures are out on the wall from the late 80s and 90s, and the idea that the investments that were happening then were happening on a wing and a prayer, and since then the improvements and improvements in service and the improvements in infrastructure and the improvements in public safety, and I could go on, and all of that is made possible by the residents and their commitment to being all in, and but I especially want to thank you guys for offering the opportunity for us to talk about the idea of cutting taxes for the first time since 2019, and even then was a tax cut. So, but thank you, and thank you, Councilman Grassley, for the one-on-one and the long, thoughtful conversation about it. So.
It was, the sidebar deliberation was a highlight of last week.
It was, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Yes,
Very
it was.
good.
So,
Well, thank you. I appreciate everybody's partnership. So,
with that, I'll make a motion to introduce the ordinance number 2024-03, the budget.
awesome.
I'll
Go ahead, Nico.
second that.
Okay, so the motion on the table is to approve the introduction of ordinance number 2024-03, an ordinance to adopt and approve the annual budget and set tax rate for the town of Sykesville, Maryland for fiscal year 2024, and to set the public hearing for May 13th. And that was a motion made by Councilman Grassley and seconded by Council President Carter. Is there any need for further questions or debate? Hearing none, then I'll call for the vote. All in favor of the motion on the table to approve the introduction and to set and set the public hearing for May 13th, please say aye.
Aye.
That's a unanimous. I'll say it out loud though. Any opposed? Okay, so unanimous approval of the motion. Thank you, everyone. That brings us to the announcements and reports section of our agenda. I will make the first announcement. The next meeting is Monday, May 13th, 2024. We have volunteer opportunities available on the Parks and Recreation Commission, Planning Commission, Crossing Guard. Are we full at Parks and Rec?
I was just asking that question.
Yeah, just as I said it out loud, I think we are. But there's always volunteer opportunities with Parks and Rec, just not on the commission. Is there still one?
There's still one.
Okay. So we have volunteer opportunities available on the Parks and Recreation Commission, Planning Commission, Crossing Guard, and the Police Auxiliary. If interested in any of these opportunities, please email town@sykesville.net for more info. Brings us to staff updates. And we shall begin with Chief Spalding and his public safety report, please. Joe's talked too much already.
I get to go before Craig?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm
Joe's
not saying
talked too much.
I am reversing the order of things this evening because it's Earth Day.
You should send the email out quickly with the agenda change right now.
Agenda change, it's a position
Oh,
change.
sorry, okay.
Oh, it's just staff updates, so.
Just staff update.
Yeah. Just a switch to staff updates.
Well, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
And I did want to mention that on the topic of police recruitment, I just read an article before I came in here tonight. You know, it's a nationwide crisis right now. Take LAPD, for example. I mean, one of the largest municipal police departments in the nation, over 8,000 officers. They're averaging hiring 31 officers a year. 31 a year. In a department that's almost 9,000 strong. So it's not just us. And they're one of the highest paid in the nation. So it's not just us, it's everywhere. Just a little side.
Misery loves company.
True.
Is the message.
Very true. Okay, well, no questions this time. Thank you very much. So we'll dive right into the public safety report, and it covers almost a month, March 19th through April 12th, since we canceled the last meeting. Busy time, as you can see, a total of 779 events and 20 incident reports. Just a few highlights, 13 assist other agency, 12 community policing events, 31 foot patrols. I'm glad to see they're increasing. 412 patrol checks, 38 traffic enforcement initiatives. Again, 779 total events. And then I'd be more than happy to entertain any questions about any of the 20 incident reports. And I had to do some cramming studying this afternoon because we were at the range today. I got back late and there was a lot of reports to look through, but I think I have a fairly good grasp on most of them. So,
Well, I will begin with the first test
Yes, ma'am.
question.
Okay.
Did the dog bite reported on 00062 occur on private property?
It did, and that was actually a dog bit its owner. One of its
Oh, really?
owners. Yeah.
So there were two bites.
There was.
There are two separate dogs?
There was two separate dog bite reports. Is that what you're referring to?
There are two separate dog bite reports. Were they two separate,
Yes.
different dogs that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That one was a lab retriever that bit its owner. The dog had, normally a very docile animal, but the dog had jumped up onto the counter and grabbed a loaf of bread and was in the process of consuming the loaf in the bag. And the owner grabbed the dog and tried to pull it out, and the dog accidentally bit the owner. So still had to go through the animal report and the quarantine, the whole 9 yards.
Okay, thank you. And the second one was also on private property?
Let's see, which one was
I don't have a
that?
number for you, I'm sorry. I actually meant to document.
0063.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my only concern. I mean, I don't like to hear about it either way, obviously, but
Yeah, that was a dachshund, the second one.
well, those dachshunds are ferocious.
Yes. Speaking of which, I got some very good news about a dog, but I'll get to that
Yeah,
in a minute when the questions are done,
For you to share that.
since we're on that topic.
Any other questions?
Well, I do have, go ahead. My question is the one I always ask. Do you see any trends, both good or bad, that either making you happy or making you unhappy that we should know about? I see more fraud here than,
Oh, that's always.
right, and that's what I'm saying. it's always, it seems slightly higher than normal, but it might not be.
This
That's why I'm
covered the
asking
whole
you.
month as well, so that to me is not an unusual trend.
Okay.
Sergeant Lacey, by the way, has done an excellent job on, he talked to you about it earlier today, a fraud that was committed at our partners over in Warfield at Nexion. A check had been stolen and forged in the area of over $100,000.
Wow.
And he was able to track the owner down in Connecticut, and actually she's in custody now. So amazing job of investigation by Sergeant Lacey. So, but those types of things
amazing.
continue.
That's my point, though. Things rise and fall. If you say, you know what, this is starting to bother me, I want to know, or on the other hand, you know, this has dropped off. That's what I was saying. But you don't see any abnormal trends of any kind.
Well, the thefts from autos are continuing. It's been a problem that's plagued this county for quite a while. I think the three most recent ones are actually not even on this report. You'll get that next time.
Oh, great.
You've
Thought it was dropping off, and here we
yeah,
are.
but we can talk about it if you like, because I know it's of concern to people on Facebook and our residents. 3 cars were broken into at Cooper Park during broad daylight. People had left purses and wallets in plain view, and the bad guy saw them and busted the window and removed them. And then he proceeded to, I'm assuming it's a he, proceeded to go to Freedom Park and victimize several other vehicles there. Then proceeded to go to Westminster and victimize several other vehicles there. We believe they're all related. We do have a suspect vehicle. It is been described as a maroon or red Chevy Suburban, newer model. Our cameras captured it at Cooper Park. Unfortunately, it had no front tag, and the way that camera is positioned is not ideal for capturing tags coming in and out of Cooper Drive. But another witness believes it was a New Jersey tag on the back. So Sergeant Lacey again is feverishly working on that case and reaching out to the other agencies that were impacted as well, and trying to come up with a plan of action. But not a whole lot of evidence left. We believe we recovered some fingerprints from one of the cars. They will be run against known suspects if and when it comes to that. But again, that trend happens all the time. In the summertime, when it warms up, it seems to be more prevalent then. But it's just a thing that we unfortunately have to deal with here. But again, the advice would be remove your valuables from the interior of your vehicles and lock your cars. I think if they see one car with nothing in the inside, they're going to go to the next car or truck. And if they see a purse or a wallet, they're going to probably break in and try to take it. Interestingly enough, they did not remove any electronics or cell phones or tablets from some of the vehicles that had them in it. And we believe that's because they're easily traced. So just cash, and none of the credit cards that were stolen have been used yet or attempted to be used yet. So we're looking for quick and easy cash, and the rest probably went into a dumpster somewhere, unfortunately.
So nothing else has been retrieved, no other personal belongings retrieved, just the credit cards haven't been used just yet.
Correct. And they've all, of course, been stopped.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
And one final question for me, anyway. The damaged window, that's 66.
Oh yeah, Warfield.
Over at Warfield. Was that on, I know which building it was because.
Building L.
Yeah. I can't recall though. First of all, was it a first floor window?
No, it was the second story.
Because I believe all of L's first floor windows are boarded up now or already gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Could have been somebody threw a rock or projectile.
Okay.
Of course, when Sergeant Kirkner's involved, he's like an eagle eye over there. If he sees one window out of place or door out of place, he's very good at. And he actually had Officer Bond with him that night, so he's training Officer Bond, similarly. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good. He's in good hands, that's for sure. Officer Bond.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions for Chief? That's the good news time coming.
Excellent. Okay. Well, let's start with a couple of things. I'll try not to take up too much of your time, because I know we have a better act to follow. We just recently finished up our Maryland Municipal League Police Executive Conference in Ocean City, and it went very well. But what I really wanted to tell you was the officers of this town and police department represented themselves very well. Sergeant Kirkner actually did a presentation on electric vehicles. He was part of a panel and did an amazing job, even though was his first time, and he was probably a little nervous in front of a bunch of old gray-haired chiefs. But he did a phenomenal job. Lieutenant Kilgore was there for moral support, more or less, but it was a big help to me, and then Barbara was there as well. I have one more year as the chair of this organization, and then I'll pass it on to somebody else. But your team represented you well. I just wanted to point that out. Yeah, it was a great conference, well attended. We had about 85 members in attendance, and some sponsors and vendors, and a number of different presentations that I think were received well. So.
And the Downtown Sykesville Connection hooked you up again with all of the
Amazingly.
merchandise.
And I need to tell Julie, because it was the first gift taken off the table. And that's that way every year.
Wow.
First gift.
You're not going to be asked to leave. I think they're going to ask you to stay another term as president of the board.
Kudos to Julie for providing a wonderful raffle prize.
That's awesome.
I'm going to thank her personally when I see her next.
Good deal.
Okay, to the good news. The town will soon have the pleasure of announcing a new member to the police department, K9 Redder. So after many years of the police department not having a K9, there was one many years ago, from what we understand. Prior to me, I think it was about 15, 20 years ago. We're now in the process, thanks to Officer Jacobs. He's done an amazing job with this from start to finish. You talk about taking the ball and running with it. I mean, he's just done an amazing job. He's, like I told Joe, it's going to be hard for us to say no because he's done all the groundwork. He's gotten donations. He's cut the cost down considerably to include the dog itself, which is from a rescue. Apparently there's a professional organization that rescues dogs specifically to be trained as police dogs. Now, this one was scheduled initially to go to the Urban Search and Rescue organization, but they found that it worked.
If you or one of your men or women fall, we spurt up the nose and drag you away. Do we have something on the question for that dog?
Can you use Narcan on a dog? I'll have to look.
That's why I'm
that.
asking now, because I don't know.
Yeah.
But we're going to ask them. We're going to ask that animal to search drugs. We want to be sure if it suddenly collapses, we know what to do for it.
Yeah, especially when you consider the olfactory senses are like 100
Oh,
times
yeah.
better than humans, so it wouldn't even have to be right next to it to get a whiff of it. So that's a good question. I'll certainly look into that.
I didn't expect you to have an answer out of your pocket, but if you would find out, I'm sure you would want to know too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've been so excited about this.
Yeah, we're pumped, and so is Andrew. So.
Chief, on the vehicle, is it also being retrofitted for air conditioning at all times?
Yes, a heat
and all the
sensor.
breathers
Yeah,
and
we'll have a heat sensor on it. Like I said, Andrew's done all the research. He's met with other handlers, so he's got it down pat. But yeah, for warm weather, it's required to have a heat sensor on there. So we ensure, as well as tinted windows, to ensure the sunlight doesn't.
You know the Tesla has a pet mode in it.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just saying it does.
Yeah,
Just
very
saying.
true.
It's easily programmable. Yeah, that makes sense.
Chief, I'm sure that there's a list already, but I'll put my name on it if Officer Jacobs needs a backup with house.
Dog sitting.
A dog sitting.
Okay. Thank you.
Wait, do you-
Yeah, there'll be a long list, I'm sure. I think some of the other officers here already volunteered for
Yeah,
that.
that's what I figured. There's a list already.
I'll just wrap up with a couple other real quick things. Officer Bond, we mentioned him earlier, is doing a phenomenal job so far. He's in his third week of field training. He's doing a great job. He was at the range with us today. I told Joe I beat him by 1 point. Made me pretty proud because these old eyes and his young eyes, but he's doing a great job and fitting in well, and I think he's going to be a valuable asset to the town. So again, thank you for your support with hiring him.
Awesome.
It'll be a good one.
Yep, I think so. The town emergency operations plan, I haven't forgotten about your request. The update is in progress. We've updated
Fantastic.
several pages of information so far, and I've reached out to Jacob Hill at the county EOC to sit down with him to go through the next steps in updating the overall plan. It may involve all of you taking a look at it and providing some input. And then once we get it fully updated, then we'll start talking about maybe planning a drill in the not too distant future.
Excellent.
Haven't forgotten about you.
I know you got a lot of things on your plate. The fact that you got to it all, it makes me happy.
And last but not least, I wanted to announce that, I know Joe knows this, We put Lieutenant Queen in for an award at the Carroll County Chamber of Commerce, and he was selected. So he is going to be the recipient of the Meritorious Service Award, Civilian Meritorious Service Award, and that award ceremony is being held May 13th from 8 to 10 a.m. And I'll make sure, I need to find out who's all going to go, and I'll put in for the tickets for us if you guys would like to attend.
I had it on my calendar. Now I have a reason to want to go.
It's a great honor that he's being recognized over, I don't know how many other nominations, but we all know, I know you had a chance to meet with him and his staff. And we all know what a great job he does and how invaluable he is to the town. And I think that's really what got him the award, is all of his contributions to the town. So very excited about that.
It's amazing, amazing human being, and we're all better for having him as our lieutenant of the auxiliary.
Couldn't agree with
Keep
you
up
more.
the good work, Chief. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Stepping back, because the first shall be last and last shall be first. Mr. Treasurer Craig, thank you.
Top that, Craig.
Exactly. Not that my information is mundane enough. I'm not going to follow Chief's excellent report there. I did not go on any conventions this week. I did not present any reports. I have an electric calculator. I don't know if that helps or anything. Nor do I have an accounting dog to present either. So
An accounting dog,
I
an
have
auditor.
nothing for really
Auditing dog, there you go.
over the mundane
But we're
numbers.
also awake for whatever it is you have to share with us now the Chief has presented.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good evening, everybody, public,
Evening.
mayor, council. At this time, I'd like to present briefly the March report, especially now the budget, another thorn there. They're like, oh, now fiscal year 24 is pretty much in the back. We don't really care much about it now. But at this point, we are still revenues over expenses, 479, which is a good thing, obviously. Very quiet month revenue-wise. We got highway user revenue, 42,000. That's already through December, so ways to go there, halfway. The SAP third quarter, we got the third quarter payment, so we're almost done with that grant money, which is good. A little bit of real estate, not much, 11. And that was pretty much it. It was a very, very quiet revenue month, which that's for March, that's pretty normal. So nothing to really be concerned about there. Expenses were dead quiet. There really wasn't much to address there unless someone has a question in that regards. Just a couple big checks in the check register. The Benenstock playground, we put a deposit on the natural playground equipment that we're getting for the parklet. I like saying that, parklet. It's almost like piglet, parklet. And then we have the Seven Springs landscaping, which just some general pruning on some of the parks and along Sandusky Road. Other than that, again, I told you this would be mundane. This is extra mundane today.
But all the suspense and keeping you at bay this time has really helped us to receive you better, I believe.
I believe so. I guess so.
Are there any questions for the treasurer?
I don't have any questions. Else?
Look at that.
No.
You are.
I was
astute.
behind. Usually I have, obviously, I present this the second, or the first Mayor Town Council meeting, and this
Yeah.
is the second one. So
And still only this much to share with
thank
us.
you, Gibby, for the reprieve, but
Absolutely.
we had the budget situation.
Yeah, I was going to say you deserved it.
So
Yeah.
thank you very much.
Thank you, Greg.
So many spreadsheets you could look at at once.
That's right.
Exactly.
Especially if you're looking at spreadsheets for a living, you know. Yeah. I'll turn to Joe, since we're doing this in reverse order.
I have several, Mayor.
Yes, please.
So Craig mentioned receiving some highway user revenue funding. I did want to let everybody know that our RFP for a paving project has been released. So likely May 30th we'll have a contract ready for council approval. The three roads we're looking at is College Avenue between Sandusky and Route 32, Ashbrook Court, which is overdue probably for resurfacing, and then a very large portion of Central Avenue minus the area that we know we're going to be digging up to install the stormwater grates. So yeah,
Excellent.
those three roads were identified. There still might be another paving project in the fall, so next fiscal year, but we'll see how this one goes and kind of where we are for the South End Streetscape funding.
I'm anxious to see Central get done
Yeah.
with the curbing, and there's a big depression up there that collects water and ice, so, yeah.
So really everything else I have is just kind of thanking lots of people. So 2 weekends ago, just want to say thank you to the Public Works Department for the annual bulk pickup day. So it was just under 23 tons that were able to be picked up around town. So thank you to them and Area Refuse for helping us out. Also to note that the Habitat for Humanity truck at Little Sykes did get filled up. Plus they were scheduled 10 more stops around town for additional pickups. So again, all around very successful bulk pickup.
Very cool.
Yes, nice.
This past weekend, big thank you to Sykesville Parks and Recreation Commission for the cleanup at South Branch Park. So they're getting ready for the event coming up this coming weekend, which is the first annual skate jam. So there's still time to sign up for the skate jam if anybody is interested in dropping in.
I would, but I got
I
that
know.
thing and.
Joe, you did say annual?
First
annual.
annual. We'll see how
Gotcha.
We'll see how it goes.
Inaugural event. How about
Inaugural.
inaugural?
Also going on this past weekend at South Branch, Adrian and Colleen were able to arrange an archaeology kind of demonstration with Howard County Parks and Recreation, so that was going on at the same time. Spark was doing their cleanup down there, and it was nice seeing the two groups kind of interact throughout the day, in addition to people just visiting the park and using the skate park and the playground equipment down there. It was a very eventful day, so it was nice to see. I mentioned the skate jam coming up this coming weekend. And then just to mention the other work that Adrian and Colleen are doing at the Gatehouse, they are planning a Civics Day on May 11th from 1 to 3. It's going to be here at the Townhouse. We obviously invite all the council members to participate that day. Really, the goal is to just, hopefully, obviously, there's a crowd that shows up. Talk to them about, the importance of volunteering and being an elected official in a small town. And then the last item that I have is really just another thank you. So I know all of you know, but this is the last council meeting that I'll have an opportunity to do this before she officially retires. But Jana Antrobus has announced her retirement. Her last official day is May 10th. I am still holding on some hope that she changes her mind between now and then. I don't think that's actually going to happen, but I like to try anyway. Jana's been a great help to me since I've been with the town. She was originally her title was executive assistant, but now has kind of moved to the development coordinator position. But she's been a tremendous help to me and everyone here at the townhouse. She started in I think 2015, so she's been here it'll be 9 years when she leaves. So again, coordinating, everything from Spark to Planning Commission to, various projects around the town, she will be dearly, dearly missed, and very difficult to replace, which I don't even exactly know how I'm going to do that yet. But if anybody has an opportunity to see Jana between now and May 10th, please tell her congratulations, even though I'm going to be very sad. She's gone. That's all I have.
Great. I'll start with from the perspective of council and committee reports, if you don't mind this time, because what I end up doing is forgetting, and I don't like to forget. So just two quick announcements. One has to do with Springfield Hospital Center's Arbor Day tree planting ceremony. That's this Friday, which is the 26th at 10 a.m. And I'll be there reading the proclamation that I didn't get to read this evening. No, it's a different proclamation, but I'm still going to be reading it. And so come one, come all. It's the event is the hospital center's opportunity to celebrate their, or I should say to receive the Arbor Day Foundation Tree Campus Healthcare Award. And this is a celebration of the final phase of the reforestation project over there. This year's planting is projected to reforest 55 acres, which will combine with the 15 acres that was completed last year. So that gives them 70 acres of reforested property over there. So here's to the tree canopy. And then secondly, along the same lines, we are having an Arbor Day tree planting celebration as well, also on Friday. So I'll run from over there to Burkett Park, where we're going to be planting. There are some trees going in ahead of my planting of the tree, where I will at least cover it with one final shovel of dirt.
Ceremonial shovel.
Yes, and that is at noon, high noon, at Burkett Park this Friday. Come one, come all. That's all I have. Who's next?
Which way do you want to
I'm
start?
gonna start with my right.
Okay, got it.
Thank you.
Okay, DSC, we've got a lot here. We've got as everybody knows, the Sykesville Art and Wine Festival scheduled for May 4th. I did look into, as Council President Carter asked about volunteer opportunities, and I've been communicating with the DSC members. It is on the Facebook event page. There's a link for volunteering on the main DSC webpage. It's a little hard to find. You've got to go to About DSC and go to, I think it was Get Involved, and there's a tab there for that. But I've also encouraged them to put out another Sign Up Genius email about that too. So thank you for looking into that. A word collage social scheduled for May 11th at Millwood Cooper Park at 3:30. This is a mixer organized by the Jedi Committee to foster a sense of belonging and inclusivity within our community in partnership with Find Your Purpose, Inc., which is a nonprofit organization founded by a Sykesville native, Billy Live. Farmers Market starts May 19th with the O's Bird as our inaugural opening act for the Farmers Market, which is an annual tradition now. Operational updates, we have Main Street Committee work plans in progress. 3 DSE staff will be attending the National Main Street Conference in Birmingham, Alabama. They're scheduled to depart on May 5th. And as some of you know, you were involved in the Mosaic Mural project. That will be unveiled on June 7th. There will be tiles from Governor Westmore's staff and family. We're hoping to get Governor Westmore actually out here for the unveiling of the mural. That's still to be determined. But we also have contributions from the mayor, council members, DSE staff, board, Main Street residents, community members, and partners. So we're really looking forward to that. And going back to the Art and Wine Festival, I do want to thank Joe for signing up. I did look up at the sign up list. You've actually signed up for setup and cleanup that day. I really appreciate that.
Yep.
If he's in a position to help clean up.
Yes.
Yeah. Joke.
We'll see if I don't get hurt at the skate jam.
Oh, okay. We'll start with that. Then there won't even be a setup situation happening the next day. Yeah.
That's shredding so hard you'll get hurt, huh?
Keegan,
Just checking.
can you let us know where that mural is going to be here in Sykesville?
It is going to be on the building out by the garden.
Here.
Okay,
Yes.
the
Yeah,
concrete
right.
side
Yeah.
that we've always wanted a mural of some sort
Yes.
right there?
Yes.
Awesome.
Originally, we were going to put it on the building that the DSE purchased, but the mural's just a little too big, so we're redesigning it for over there.
Oh, that's a great place.
That's-
People can actually walk up and make sure that you have mine positioned where I can actually see it. Not like way up there.
That's all pending approval by the Historic District Commission on Wednesday evening.
Okay, Councilman
But pretty
Grassley.
much since all the murals are painted, I mean,
Yes.
how do you say no to that?
True.
It's temporary, so it'll be
Councilman
fine.
Grassley.
Yeah.
And finally, the latest awardees for the FY24 Facade Improvement Program grants will be announced shortly. That's it.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Okay, Historic District Commission is actually meeting Wednesday night. We have a full agenda. My goodness, 11 to act on. Roof replacement, window replacement, awning, fence. It seems like all stuff that's compliant with our current standards, but they just need review on that. And I'll make sure the mural is there. It is there. It's number 11.
Perfect.
So I'll put in a good word for that.
Thank you, sir.
And personal note, my son Matthew will be playing at the skate jam, his band.
Yeah.
So his name is Scum with a K, but that's the name of the band. They changed the S to a backwards Z for some reason, but
Okay.
they unveiled a new name last week. ZKUM.
Okay.
I like it.
So you should be able to hear them when they're down there playing.
I feel like there have been opportunities for us all to hear them at some point.
So
What during practice?
yes.
Yes.
So looking forward to
You gotta
that.
wear the noise ordinance, correct?
We've been yes, he has been issued the noise ordinance before. So anyway, that's what's going on. Looking forward to the skate jam and Joe shredding it up there on the bowl.
I'm sorry.
So I was going to let everyone know we have a local band playing at the skate jam.
I'm sorry, it's where you're thunder,
It's
but
all good. It's all
Sorry,
good.
get to.
So from 2 to 4, and I would definitely encourage even those who are not skating to come out, not only to support local band and our local skaters, but we'll have food and different things for people to eat and munch on and all of that. And we're waiting to hear kind of a final report if there will be some local participation from some of our restaurants and things on Main Street to help support that event. So I think as a family event, even if you're not skating, would definitely encourage
I'll be there.
families to come out.
I'll be there without wheels on. Okay.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Council President Carter.
I have nothing, thank you.
Councilman Dyer.
I don't have anything, but if someone does have any comments about, for example, this, what we do is record it and then the CMC plays it. If you have any comments, they're kind of looking introspectively at how they're doing, and they try to cover a lot of local games. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, complaints, compliments, drop me a line, but I don't have anything specific.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our
I'll
agenda.
make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so I'm sure you got that, but I must say it for purposes of posterity. The motion to adjourn was made by Councilman Grassley and seconded by Councilmember Guroff. We're going to take a vote on that motion now. All in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Oh, and it's